Hi, I'm Dave Fairhall, one of the New South Wales Varroa Development Officers. Last beekeeping season, the New South Wales VDOs received a lot of reports of suspected poisoning of beehives. So in this video, I'm going to go through some of the telltale signs that you can look for in order to determine what was the likely cause of your hive loss. Before we start, let's have a look at a quick case study. One of the New South Wales VDOs was contacted by a beekeeper who was operating 150 colonies. These were spread across 3 apiaries with around 50 colonies at each apiary, and they ranged over an area of about 10 to 15 kilometres. At 2 of the apiaries, all 50 hives were dead, and at the 3rd apiary there was 2 beehives remaining alive. So the VDO and the beekeeper attended, did an alcohol wash, and determined that the Varroa mite load was very high. So in this case, Varroa mite was the likely cause of the loss of the beekeeper's colonies. Interestingly, the VDO had found Varroa in the same area around about 12 months earlier, but the beekeeper was unaware that Varroa was present in their area. So the first thing to do if you've got colony loss is to rule out Varroa as the likely cause. If there's bees left, do an alcohol or a soapy water wash or a sugar shake and determine the mite load. Have a look at the debris on the bottom board and see if there's any mites there. Check the brood cells. Look for mites in the brood cells, both mature and immature, or check for defecation sites. Remember that food stores are likely to be present, but if there's a high mite load or other signs of a high mite infestation, Varroa mite could very well have been the cause of your colony loss. We've also been receiving a lot of reports of small hive beetle slime outs, and as Varroa weakens hives, small hive beetle will often take advantage of that situation and slime the colony out. So if you've got a slime out, telltale signs are pretty easy to spot. There'll be a lot of beetle larvae crawling around, burrowing through the combs, and the frames and the combs, the faces of the combs will have like a slimy appearance. But just remember that a slime out does not necessarily mean that small hive beetle was the underlying cause of the loss of your colony. Something else could have weakened it first, and small hive beetle could have just taken advantage of the situation and finish the job. What we're seeing where Varroa mite infestations are high and colonies are becoming weakened from Varroa mite, small hive beetle is taking advantage of the situation, and we're finding that we're getting a lot of both pests in areas where they're both present. So if you're in an area where there is both of these pests, you have to remember that both need to be managed in order to keep your colonies healthy. It's important to check that American foul brood is not the underlying cause of your colony loss. The signs of American foul brood are a poor or patchy brood pattern. The cell caps can look greasy, and they can be sunken, and they have holes in them of a regular shape where the bees have tried to remove the diseased brood. The brood itself will be an off colour, and if you remove some of the brood with a stick or a match, it'll rope. In advanced cases, where the brood has dried out, the diseased brood has dried out, it'll be a dry, dark scale stuck to the cell wall. There's likely to be food stores left, but just remember that if it's American foul brood, this is a serious disease and it does need to be dealt with properly. It's also important to check for signs of starvation or robbing. If the colony's died out and there's no food stores left, and you're finding workers with their heads in the cells and the proboscis extended, that's often a sign of starvation. If there's a lot of dead workers at the entrance, and there's been signs of fighting, then that could be as a result of a robbing event. And if you find debris on the hive bottom board, it could also be as a result of bees that have robbed out a colony and the debris fallen to the bottom board as it's been robbed out. In the case of a poisoning, you'll find dead bees and brood. The dead bees will have their wings at an odd angle, and they can have their proboscis extended. Sometimes their hind legs will be outstretched. Be paralysis seen. There's probably food stores still left, and you might find that most of the hives in an area are being affected, or there might be multiple apiaries in an area affected as the effects of the poisoning spread across multiple apiaries. If you've ruled out other likely causes of colony loss and you still suspect the poisoning, it's really important to report this. A reporting allows for an investigation to be undertaken, bees may be sampled, but at the end of the day, reporting an investigation can result in action that reduces the likelihood of a repeat event for you and your fellow beekeepers. On the screen, we've got the number here for the APVMA Adverse Experience Reporting Program, and there's contact numbers for each state and territory. And if you're not sure what caused your colony loss, then get in contact with your state or territory bee biosecurity team and ask for support.